Hey guys, it's R Kelley with Sales Tips Daily 3. This is episode 323, and today's topic is going to be closing. I had a lot of requests for this, so we're going to be talking about closing, and I think this is what everyone's really pretty serious about, is closing. Making sure that we can close the deals. That's why we're here. Get the sale. So I'm going to get right into it. I want to try and make this video short. I want to be concise. So today's topic is closing. Sales tips, daily 3. Number 1, focus. And this goes hand in hand with concentration. A lot of times I see salesmen and saleswomen. I apologize if I use salesmen a lot. It's just a thing I say, but I mean general guys and girls. But I see a lot of people when they're selling either coloring or drawing, and that might be alright for them. I'm not saying anything bad about that. That might keep their head from going to other places during the process. That's just not my style. My style is I get so focused and wrapped up in the process and the conversation that I'm having that the building could catch on fire and I wouldn't know. So focus is very important, and if that's the way you approach it, like I said, I'm not going to go against anybody's methods if it's working for them. I'm just saying, for me, it's all about concentration. From intro to discovery to pitch, I have to be concentrated. I have to be so into that conversation that nothing else around me matters, because I'm being very strategic. So for me, the only thing that's happening in my sales cycle is me interacting with the prospect and maybe taking some notes so that I can have a memory of the discovery and the wants and needs of the prospect that I can later use to close. So focus and concentration go hand in hand. I'm labeling this one focus because it's the whole process is focus. You have to be into what you're doing. Your head has to be in the game, and the reason focus is so important is so that if a customer asks you a pertinent question that's a make or break thing, you need to be able to come up with an answer. And if you're occupying your time by doing something else, sometimes that split second can lose trust for you. So I have to stay focused. I'm in the call, I'm concentrated, and that's the only thing I'm thinking about. So number 1, focus. Number 2, engagement. Guys, the analytics on this is that our prospects hear 20 to 30% of what we're actually saying. So the key here is repetition. The key points of your product or service need to be repeated multiple times so that towards the end of the sales process, it doesn't come back to, well, Michael, you never told me about that. If I say it 4 or 5 times, or if I say it so many times that the prospect says back to me, you already said that, then I know that I've gotten the point across. And a good way to test this engagement is by asking questions. Something like, like we give 6 months to travel. So I'll say something like, hey, Mr. Johnson, yeah, with the product that we're talking about right now, you have 6 months to use it. Does that make sense? Or do you understand? And then you'll get one of two things. You'll get a yes, or you'll get what? And then you know that they're not paying attention, but you did just grab their attention. So engagement is very important. And one of the things I want to bring up with this is what I like to call pregnant pauses. Now, sales trainers are going to tell most first-time salesmen and newbies that they need to slow down. They need to slow down their speech. I never really had a problem with that. I've always tried to be very articulate, and I'm very self-aware, so I know that I'm a good communicator. So there's certain times where I will talk faster when I'm losing attention and I'm trying to gain it back, and there's certain times when I need to get a point across by talking slow. But pregnant pauses give your prospect or customer an opportunity to process exactly what you guys are talking about and maybe decide in that small amount of time that you pause if you're fulfilling their needs, or it gives them an opportunity to come up with a question back to you, which again talks about engagement. So I use these pregnant pauses. And one more thing I want to add to this, it's really important, it's an interesting psychological theory to me, is being quiet after the customer speaks. So it sounds something like this. I say, so Mr. Johnson, does that sound good? And he says, Michael, yeah, I liked everything that you said. I'm just not interested. As salesmen, our first reaction is to instantly rebuttal. What I've learned through studying psychology is that sometimes it's better to just be quiet. Don't say anything. And it's funny because it goes something like this then. Mr. Johnson, does that sound good? Yeah, Michael, I love everything you're saying, but I'm just not interested. Now I'm quiet, and then you'll hear, because, I can't see myself traveling out there in 6 months. Or the $199 is a little too rich for my blood. So a lot of times, by taking the pregnant pause after they speak is a good way to pull that objection out without even having to do any work, by just being quiet. You're not interested? I don't rebuttal. Customers feel uncomfortable with silence, so then they will sometimes express their real objection. And then at that point, you can rebuttal it and come back with your response. So pregnant pauses to let them process and think of their questions, and then sometimes when you get certain things like not interested, don't say anything at all after they say that, and let them speak again next, because then you can get the real objection from them sometimes, most of the time. I think it works a lot, actually. And this is something you have to try out for yourself just to see how it works. Now, third, today we're talking about closing. Third is close the sale. Don't talk yourself out of it. You need to, do heat checks throughout your sales process. But once you fulfill the need or want, or once, we sell on a short sales process. So when you get the impulse or the emotion at its height, that's when you want to go for the close. So when you have fulfilled a need or want for your prospect, go for the close. A lot of times, you ask a trial close, like, after you've explained everything, Mr. Johnson, okay, so do you think that would work for you, or that would work for you, right? If they say yes, say, okay, great, what kind of car do you want to put that on today? And I've heard people say, Okay, and this is how the process works. No, that's horrible. Do not do that. Close them. If you fulfill the want or need, if your product or service has solved the problem and you've communicated that to the guest and the guest has now agreed with you and you've done a trial close and they said yes, then close them. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. What kind of card did you want to use today, Mr. Johnson? Not, yes, Michael, that sounds good. And then I follow up with, okay, well, the way the process works is blah, 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 blah. Close. Guys, go for the close. It blows my mind how close people get to the close and then they overtalk themselves out of the close. Like, it's unnecessary and you don't need to do it. Like, if you get them there, if you do it, then finish it off. And finish it off quickly. Because do not give them time then, or do not give yourself time to talk yourself out of it, and don't give them time to think themselves out of it. You got them there. You got that impulse curve. Boom, you're at the height. You're at the height of the emotion. They're excited. They're pumped. You solved a problem for them. You fulfilled a need or a want. They want to buy it. And now you're going to go, and this is how the process works. No. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. How do you want to pay for that today, Mr. Johnson? So guys, it's simple. Don't over-talk yourself out of the close. Some sales processes can be a lot, or sales cycles can be a lot shorter if you just ask for the card, or ask for the payment, or ask for the close. You can do a trial close as a heat check, and if you find out that you're hot and you got it, then go for it and finish it off. Don't over talk and then lose the sale. Finish it off. Man. So today's Daily 3 about closing was stay focused and concentrate on what you're doing. However that is in your world, stay focused and concentrate. Number 2, engagement. Stay engaged with your customer. Ask questions. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Ask more questions. Use pregnant pauses so that they can think, so that they can ask questions back and be engaged with you, and it can be a conversation. And then third, close the sale when the opportunity arises. Good? Alright. This has been Michael Kelley with Sales Tips, your Daily 3. I appreciate you guys. I'm pandering again. Like, subscribe, comment. Remember, your comments fuel the content. I'm not a sales guru. I'm not the best salesman in the world. But we're creating a community where we're all helping each other to get better. We're going to increase our sales, which increases our income. And that's what we're here to do. So I appreciate your guys' time. Go out and sell something.